Okay, so let's begin. Maybe you might be familiar with the 30 days of JavaScript and maybe also JavaScript for everyone. Uh, the difference between these two materials is this one 30 days of JavaScript is very vast. For some people, it's like impossible to finish unless they really give it a proper amount of time. But this JavaScript for everyone, it can be like finished in a week time or in a couple of days because the content is not big. But it has the most important part, but it lacks a description, a detailed description. But when you come to this, you get everything. So it's all about your choice. If you don't have much time, sometimes you may use this material. Today, I may jump between those two materials, but most of the time I will spend on this material for reference if I get lost when I am teaching. Okay, so let's create a folder. I've created a folder somewhere. Maybe I think I can start with VS Code. I use VS Code. I would recommend VS Code for many reasons. It's very powerful. You can have lots of plugins, so it's very, very useful and it makes you productive. In addition, I am interested in Google Chrome, but if you are in favor of other, that's also your option. I will use Google Chrome now and then for as a browser. So let's create a folder here, and then I can call this folder JavaScript Refresher, and then I will open it here. I think it's opened now, all these things. Or you, and then let's create a index.html. Okay, great. So I use this HTML5 boilerplate generator because you know this by now. So just to change the title, JavaScript Refresher. So JavaScript can be written in a line, for instance, button, click me, and on click, actually on click is an attribute, it's HTML attribute, and then we can try alert, I am clicked. So I have to close this one, actually this and this, something like, and there's extra. So to know, I have to open it on Chrome. So today I use this, open it on the terminal. I have live server. I hope you have live server too, but if you don't have live server, you can open it like this. One, you can just open it by going to here and double click. By double click, or you can also choose the, why is it taking so long? Yeah, you can run it using Google Chrome by just coming to this folder. Okay. Another option, I think there is already live server plugin. Live server. Yeah, this live server plugin. And then if you have this one, and then you will see, yeah, first you have to install this. I installed it already, so I don't have to install it again. After that, where do you see that? Actually, you click on the file and open with live server. Open with live server, and it open for you like this. So you can do either way. So it's opened, I don't need many. Okay, so this is, so let's now create, open the browser. Control Shift I if you are using, oh, this is Control Shift I if you are using Windows. And then I think this is something. If I reload again, I don't see all this thing, but I think it has lots of things which I don't want. So just, I have, this is via Google Chrome console, but we already put a JavaScript code, if you remember here. Alert, I am clicked. So let's go on and try if it works. I am clicked. As you can see, I am switching left and right. Let me put everything in one. Maybe it's good. Okay. Yes. How about this? Can you manage to see this? Do you manage to see? Is it easy to see? Maybe I can also make it a bit bigger. Okay, good. So now we wrote our first line of JavaScript, on click alert. So that's connected. But most of the time, we write our code inside a script. A script by itself is actually an HTML tag. So after this tag, everything we write is going to be a JavaScript code. So let's start our code. Console.log hello world. Hello world. And now, as you can see, hello world is here. Good. So our code is going to be here inside the script. And I think, do you have any question?
No, sorry.
Yes. So maybe if you, whenever you have a question, you can turn on your mic and you can ask any question you want to. But if you don't, just keep your mic mute. Okay, let's move on. And in JavaScript, we have comments. Comments is something we don't like to be executed. It could be single line comment. If if a text is followed by this these two forward slash, it's a single line comment, or it could be a multi-line comment. So this is how we write multi-line comment. The line comment can be written on multiple line. Great. So this is comment. Now we connected to the browser. Our code is connected to the browser. And let's keep going. What before that? For how long are we learning today? It depends on how fast we could be. But I try to cover basic JavaScript. For instance, variables, let, const, var, and then data types. In the data types, we talk about numbers, strings, string methods, and undefined, null, and also string data type casting. And then we talk about arrays and array methods, conditionals, loops, and functions, objects, and then if we have time, we can see functional programming. Yes. Zoom might not allow us to run for use it for so long. Maybe it allows us for 40 minutes. I'm using the free version, so we might be disconnected. So we have to rejoin again. If we get disconnected, then we will keep going for 40 minutes. Yeah, is that okay? Good.
Yes.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yes, it's all right.
Okay, so now let's start talking about variables. What are variables? Actually, variables are space, memory space, which allow us to store data values, different data types. So yeah, we need to have variables to put something, to store something, actually data. So then how we write actually variables, it used to be var, first name, and then you write something. For instance, if you write anything, something like this, it's a string. For instance, I can write my name. But this is actually a very error prone. Your chance of making error is so high. Then at some point, ES6 features add let. So let allows you to declare only once. For instance, I used first name. It doesn't allow me to use it again other place. But if I use var, I can use again var first name, and then I can use Yov again. So this is okay using var. But if you use let, it doesn't allow you to use it again. In addition, the difference between let and var, for instance, since you are familiar with JavaScript, you know for loop, right? For let I is equal to 0, I less than 6. I plus console.log I think most of you know that this prints from 0 to 5, right? So I want to ask you, what is the value of I here? Console.log I. What is the value of I here? Yeah, already you saw it, right? A reference error. I is not defined. It is not known. So I is not declared anywhere. I is not declared anywhere. Because let is actually block scope. Block in programming means these curly brackets, we call them block. Yeah, have you seen them? From here to here, we call them blocks. So how about if I change let to var? And then the answer is going to be 6. Have you seen the difference now? I think I want you to interact using the message. That is easy for me, how much you follow me and how much you understand. So how is it so far? Just say something on this Zoom group chat because I can see, and whenever I get faster or slower, you can also say something on the, yeah. So have you seen the difference between let and var here? Okay, great. Some people are joining. Welcome everyone again. We just started. You didn't miss anything. What you should do is just have one index.html and run it on live server. And yeah, that's where we are. Good. So that is the difference between var and, yeah, but when it comes to var, it is only function scoped. What's function scoped? Function, we have to have name of the function, right? Name of function, whatever, it's okay. I can write like this. And now if I have var a number is equal to 0, I can't access number here, console.log number. I can't access it. So var is only scoped to function. But when it comes to let is actually scoped to any block scope. So block scope means this, anything inside it. For instance, we have also if some conditional, okay, for instance, if 10 is greater than 9, I'm just putting true z value. This is a block again. So when we get block scope is actually inside if 4 and maybe something else. And so anything, anywhere you get these two curly bracket, we call them block code, and this is function scope. How about now the difference between let and const? The scope is the same, but the difference is we don't reassign the value of const. For instance, pi is equal to okay, pi is equal to 3.14. So now that means I'm not going to change the value of 3.4. It's a naturally agreed value, yeah, scientifically agreed value. You don't change this value, so it's constant. I'm not going to say pi equal to 3.14, something like that. So it should, no. So you use const whenever you have a constant value. So I think now we are done with the difference between let, var, and const. Do you have any question between before I move on? Yes, sorry. I can. Okay. So if you understand, most of the time I use let and const, not actually most of the time. It's better to use let and const. Okay, now let first name. As you can see, my name, the variable, this variable is camel case. It's conventional in JavaScript community. People prefer to write this. It's preference, okay? And if I write my last name, it's similar. And if I write let full name, I can merge these two. We call it concatenation. So first name plus last name. And to see the result, console.log full name. As you can see, I see my name here, but that's not very nice, right? It's my first name and my last name are merged together. So we need a space here. We can also add space. So this is one empty space, as you can see. That's very good. But how about let country Finland and let age 150. So if I want to concatenate this, it would be person, let person info full name. The point is now I like to print out something which says Asabene Itai lives in Finland. He is 150. I want you to print out this. We concatenate this. Okay, how do person info? I have the full name already. Full name, class. Then I have to add lives. Then the country. And then class again. He is age. Print, oh sorry, it's not console log person info. As you can see, I think I managed to print out what I want. So Asabenetai lives in Finland. He is 250, yeah? Great. So we learn now a concatenation of string. We call this string. I think you know what string is by now. Okay. But actually when we concatenate, I can also just show you here before that lesson actually is part of string, but we can cover it here. How about if this how about if we have many variables? It's really hard. So instead we can go string interpolation. String interpolation is actually we use this backtick. Have you seen? And then we don't need this plus sign anymore. And then actually we inject the data, and then we need the dollar sign followed by a curly bracket. So now I'm injecting the full name, this value here. And then country is also a data because it has to come as a dynamic data, right? And then something like this. Yes. Have you seen now? I got it's so clean. The code is very clean, and your chance of making mistake is also so small. So I would strongly recommend you to use this. Yeah. Okay, great. So I hope you know what variable name should be. There's already a very good explanation how variable name should look like on this material. I would also recommend you to follow. For instance, all these are valid variable names, and these are also valid variable names. Even this one, underscore is allowed, dollar is allowed, but it's not allowed to start with number. That's the difference. Yeah, that's a variable. Now you know what variable is. Maybe now let's see also this mat object. Mat object is actually, you get it natural, I mean, out of the box. You don't have to do anything. So it occurs you found it something like this, capital. So let us see, for instance, console.log mat.pi. I may find actually the pi value. Have you seen it? I think, let me just take this up. So 3.1417, it continues. And there is this mat.round. Mat.round. It round the value. For instance, if I pass this value, now I think before that 9.81, what do you think the value of this? Before I printed it out, I want to ask you, what's the value of this? Rounding is just to the closest integer. You round it to the closest integer. So what is the rounding of this number?
10.
Yes, it should be 10. So let's see the value. Console.log. It should be 10. And now let us see console.log mat.floor 9.81. Sometimes when you don't want the decimal or the remaining decimal points, you can use math.floor and you remove the decimal points. Now I get 9. Okay. Console.log mat.seal. Seal means to ceiling, the ceiling, to upward. So if I put 9.81, it should be 10. Surprisingly, if we put 3.14, it's going to be also 4. Have you seen? Yeah, there are cases you want to just, yeah, the floor for this one is going to be 3, yeah? Okay. Now let's also see mat.random, the most important mat method.